Another breakfast tea. A lot of people don't know what luck looks like. Luck is initially what you get off with, what you start off with, and then how often that spark happens. It's sort of like lying on a match. Like, this is a shitty box, I won't lie. Like, look how fine that course is, but if you keep striking at it, eventually, yeah, so, oh fuck, I'm not used to this shit. You get used to being in front of a camera, but yeah, I just want to come here and talk about luck and how that shit really fucking works, and the way it works in the background of why everybody should find out how to use it. And the way I want to give this advice through is through my own story of how I've been, I won't being getting lucky, but where you can look for it initially. So it first comes through hard work. You get lucky through hard work because it's sort of like a box of matches. If you don't do it well, you know, if you don't pull enough force, enough friction, it won't light. If you don't hit it at all, it won't light until you do, and that's pretty much luck. You just gotta time it right on everything. So initially striking that box of matches with me was training at my old club for boxing. In my old club, I was training there for maybe two and a half years until COVID started, and then I left it to go to a new club because I had to. It just didn't suit my lifestyle. But for those time, I just trained, and I would show up to training every day, you know, really licked boot, and nothing was really working out for me. I really didn't like training there. I didn't like training with them. I didn't have any clarity on how hard I was working. I was getting my ass beat every night, you know. It just didn't really work out for me. So you know, when I left, I was bouncing off between my new club and my old club because I was training with them both at the time, and then ultimately I decided to go out with the next one. So with my old club, I didn't realize I was getting unlucky. So when I was competing against my sparring partner, who was really talented, he worked pretty hard, and he was really lucky. And for me, only thing I had going for me was worked hard, didn't have much talent, didn't have much luck. It's just something that you build over time. So he beat my ass every night, outshined me in my own weight class. So he got lucky, you know. And then for me, I was just like, I was bummed out. Didn't get the same opportunities as him. Didn't, you know, really couldn't compare. I was like, damn, this shit sucks. I don't want to be getting my ass beat every night. So, and eventually, he stopped coming training. And I was like, damn, I got no one to spar. So I got effort put into me more often, and then COVID hit. Then I was like, damn, like, can't box, you know, just doing the wrong things, and I ended up putting on a few kgs of weight. It wasn't great because I tried my best to stay down, but when you're young, you have no idea about nutrition, and your family doesn't know anything about nutrition and exercise at all. You just kind of waste it. Just don't do shit. You know, you don't sleep well either. When I joined the beginners class, I looked better than everyone, and I was astounded. And I was like, what the fuck? You know, because I've never been the best somewhere before. And bear in mind, I said beginners class. I am not that good. I'm just a novice. But I was in there, I was bigger than everyone, I was like technically better than everyone. I was way too advanced, and I didn't think I needed to be there because, like, why am I training with beginners? So when I talked to the coach, I was like, can I move up? And he was like, sure, let's give it a shot. And this is when talent comes in. I didn't realize I had talent. because this is where I excelled past people I didn't even know, because after training casually for 3 years, I got my first chance of luck. And I kind of blew it, or I just didn't think it was the right time. It didn't really work out for me because the people I was sparring at the time with shit in the beginners class, like I made them all look pretty bad. And then when I moved up in competitive class, it was a huge jump. Like if my old club was in the middle between those between the beginners class and the university and the competing class in the university, there was a huge jump, because I went from sparring people my age who didn't know how to box to people who've been boxing for 6 years, 8 years, who've been boxing for a while now. And yeah, that took me off guard like crazy, and they made me look pretty bad. And then I got the cold, and then my sister got COVID, so I had to isolate. And then yeah, and that was the end of that semester for me, because right after, coach looked at me down there and was like, best you just stay down there for a while. And I was like, alright. So yeah, that was my first first time I see myself have talent ever. Because before starting boxing, I didn't have a talent. Like I was tall, sort of lean, kind of skinny, fat, you know, and I looked alright, you know, for my weight class. I could have gone lower for then, but with the way life goes, you know, just pulling a shit ton of weight, stress gets to you. And then this year, I'm finding out about luck and how that plays into it. So I'm realizing everything that I did was because of talent and hard work. Because sometimes people get luckier than others. And people need to be thinking about this factor more often while they pursue anything, not even just with sports. If you join a bad team, you're not gonna get very lucky. If you join a team where it has being your own position, or if the coaches aren't great, or if there's nobody really looking out for you, that's when you decline, and that's when you feel like, fuck this. And that was my experience with basketball before I started boxing. I didn't realize that. I just thought, hey, that's life, that's you keep going with it. But then in boxing, I trained at 2 clubs. And I was very unlucky in the first, and I got very lucky in the second, which allowed me to really push through all of my initial problems that came up with boxing. Like, at first, there wasn't much coaches in my old club that were looking out for me and looking for me, because there's somebody already outshining me. So I didn't get my moment ever. And then I had a coach who didn't tell me there that I failed my medical, so I kept on training there, thinking I would get my shot one day if I kept at it, but that was never really there in the first place. And then, Jesus, the list is long. And then of course, just like with the way everything's planned out, it was really hard to get from school to training. So, and then just being busy, it was the leaving cert. And for those who don't do the leaving cert, it's basically the final exams for people in Ireland. And it was just poor timing, but this is where I built my foundation to be luckier in my next club. Fuck, I wasn't recording. So when I made the jump to my next club, I was bigger than everyone, I was more skilled than everyone, while everyone being a beginner's class. And that was my initial chance of luck, because the timing was perfect. The way I found out about the club is that I found one of the elite members going on a jog through campus and caught up to him, and he was wearing hand wraps. If I hadn't turned around at that exact moment, if I, wasn't looking at the right time, if I wasn't there at the right time, I wouldn't have found him, and I wouldn't have found out the training was on or when it was starting, because the club didn't have an open day stand. So that's my first year, and that's my first initial chance of luck, was first getting past that beginner's class initially and going into the competitive class in the second semester. and when I really feel it was this year. So this year I've had a huge break with boxing, 2 charity matches, 2 exhibitions, 3 competing fights. So that's 7 in total I train and compete for. So even though they're not fully like booked bouts, I've had 3 booked bouts in a span of 5 months as a novice, and I'll have 1 more until I'm not a novice anymore, I assume, or senior novice, maybe. Yeah, and I've gotten all these opportunities because I stuck at it, and because I've stuck at it, like, I'm there more, and when I'm there more, you get luckier. So, first time ever competing was a charity match, and you didn't need anything. This was like ground zero for me. Like, this was easier than what I was being training for. The fights were 3 rounds, a minute and a half, and it was light work until they put me up with this fucking Goliath of a man. Jesus, he told me he was 19. Don't believe that for a second. But anyways, big ups to him, you know, humbling me. So, and after that was the second charity match, and I lost that one too. I should have fought a lot better. This guy was lighter than me. He was in a little bit better shape, but regardless, I should have just, you know, stuck to my guns and beat him. Third was, I think, my first competitive match. This was for the colleges, and I ended up winning, and it felt so good for the first time. And definitely parts of winning comes with being lucky. So with all the tools that I've gained and all the things that have happened beforehand, I got lucky winning that fight, because in amateurs you don't know who you're fighting. All you have is a name and where they fight out of. You might get unlucky with, I mean, it's most likely the time, probably gonna get unlucky, but it's really just a game of percentages and chance, if you think about it. Like, to be exceptional, you must be ahead of a curve. Do what people aren't doing so that you can get better. So let's say, for example, in boxing, person A goes to training every day, person B only goes training once or twice a week, person A trains outside of the gym, person B doesn't, person A talks to coaches and his teammates, the other one doesn't talk to anyone. So yeah, man can get lucky if you don't, you know, get yourself out there. People don't try it a lot. People don't force luck. You can force luck, and there's methods to it, but people don't know how to get there, because luck is maximizing the chance of getting a good opportunity that comes, you know, and you do what you need to do to make sure that you win, or like make sure that you succeed in what you want to do. So by forcing that happen, it will happen, and you'll get the opportunity, you'll get that break, but you don't get that break if you don't do anything about it. So it becomes a part of hard work, you know? So, you know, and for a lot of people, like, it's a missing element to getting up, because they can work hard, they can have the talent, but they don't have any luck, and they won't get a shot. Like, you ever heard those stories like, oh, the smartest man in the world is probably a farmer in like Sri Lanka, or the person with the best genetics right now is probably studying to be a doctor, you know, instead of trying to be Mr. Olympia. So it's really like right place and right time. So I guess I finished talking. Don't think I have anything else to say. It's quite of a short topic, to be honest. Probably come around like a 10-minute video when I check all the chopped and cut out all the blanks in between of me just saying or or something else. So yeah, maximize your luck. Do that by working hard. I don't just work hard. Fucking make sure you're in the right places at the right time with the right people, doing the right things. Exposure, so that you can maximize your chance of getting luck. Because you can't just boost it out of nowhere. It's not like, you know, one day, you know, like fucking you're gambling and then you win big, and then you win big, and then you keep winning big, you know. it'll go up and down, but maximizing your chance of luck is an essential part of hard work.